live again. Excellent. It has been a little while since I have done a live stream, and I suppose I'll probably be a little bit out of practice, but, oh well. So, my goal for this live stream is I'm going to be journaling just for the little, awkward time when there's no one watching, because I'm behind a little bit in my journaling, and then after that, I will be reading my Bible, because I'm also behind in Bible reading, and we'll go from there. If anyone asks any sort of questions, then I'll answer some questions. Let's start a poll real quick. So ask a question. What should I do for my next stream? Read about culture in the 1800s. There's an 1800s. It won't let me write out that whole thing for some reason. Read contemporary history of early... It won't let me... It won't let me do that. Read about 1900s history. What else should I add on there? Read a classic. What else is there? Read... Oh, no, I need to add an option before I keep doing that. Add an option. Read more of my Bible. Alright. Okay. So there's a poll. Hello. Everybody's saying hello. Does that poll right there cover my face? Like, are you able to see my face, or... Because I don't like that it does that. On my screen, anyway. Well, anyway, I'll let y'all... It does cover my face? Ah, brilliant. I'll let y'all mess with that for a little while. And then... While you're doing that, I'll try to catch up in my journaling. While, like I said earlier, it covers my face. Yeah, that's great. Can I move it? It'd be nice. I can kind of move it. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of catch up in my journaling while I'm waiting for y'all to do that. And then, if you have any questions, just random questions, feel free to ask. I can't guarantee I can answer, but I can try. Then once I'm done with my journaling, I'm going to do some catching up in my Bible reading, because I'm behind in that as well. So, what is today anyway? Today is the 4th of February, and right here I'm working on the 27th of January, so I'm like a week behind. So let me see, what did I do on Tuesday? I know that I played some Minecraft. A little bit, not a whole lot. So I guess I will write that. I just started a Minecraft creative world, and I've been building this hotel, which I think is going to be really neat once I get it done. Have I read Dracula yet? I have not read Dracula. I don't even have it, but that might be something I could read someday. I've got some stuff there on my books. For Christmas, I got a whole bunch of, like, classic books. Let's see, I got the Three Musketeers, Frankenstein, The Secret Garden, and, well, no, I don't think I did get The Secret Garden. I think my brother got The Secret Garden. But then I also got 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, so now I have 3 copies of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But that's okay, it's a good book. But anyway, in the Minecraft world that I have, I started building this really big hotel. It's got, I think, 24 rooms, so it doesn't sound that big, but it's really big, and it's taken me like a week to do that. What do I think of? I'm not familiar with that sect, so I'm afraid I can't answer that. Let's see, what else did I do on Tuesday? I think I also watched some YouTube. I've been walking every day this year for at least half an hour. So I've been making sure that I walk outside for half an hour, and it's really nice, actually. I've been getting some exercise, spending some time outside, and it's been really great. Who's my favorite intellectual? Well, I don't know if intellectual is a very specific kind of person, or if that's just somebody who, is, like, studious, somebody who studies. I know, let's see, Paul Washer, I have some of his books up here, and then John MacArthur as well. They're more like theologians, evangelists, which is, you know, kind of like an intellectual, I think. Let me see, just real quick. I've got my big dictionary. We're bringing this out again. Let me make sure I understand what intellectual is. H-I. Intellectual. A person with intellectual interest or taste who does intellectual work. the intellect or understanding. So somebody who is intelligent, who does intelligent things, who studies, who. So yeah, that would be my answer. Chomsky. I'm not familiar with that person. Let's see. The 28th was a Wednesday. So Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. And what did I do on Wednesday? I don't recall what I did on Wednesday. That's unfortunate. I really need to get better at writing down every day. I had been going for like 2 years and then just kind of got lazy. And so now I'm behind a week and I don't remember what I did. You know what probably happened is I was playing Minecraft again and just did that all day. And so by doing that all day, I just kind of got lost and didn't really do anything meaningful, so that's probably why I can't remember. Was it Wednesday or Thursday? I don't recall. Well, I suppose I'll have to work on this later then, because Minecraft is addicting. Yes, Minecraft is very addicting. But yeah, I am going to have to work on this some other time because I can't stream on my phone and look up whatever I did on those days, because I'm pretty sure if I were to look on my phone, I'd be able to see some of the other things that I had been doing, like, you know, through pictures and things, so. But yeah, I'll have to look at that later. So now that I'm done with my journaling for now, I guess I'll move on to my Bible reading. But before I do that, let me take a look at this poll here. What should I do for my next live stream? So, it looks like most of you want me to read more of my Bible, so I guess that's what I will be doing. Yep, alrighty. So, that's what I'll do. How do I... Ooh, there we go. 24 votes. That's a lot of votes. Alrighty. Well, now that that is taken care of, let me go to my Bible and some unashamed advertising here. I have a Bible schedule that I made, and you can purchase it on Amazon. Just look up my name, or you can look up the whole title. It doesn't matter. But let me look and see how far behind I actually am. I know for the general reading, I'm like behind a week, but as for daily reading, let's see. January 26th, Genesis 26, well, of course. But I'm supposed to be on February the 4th, which is right here. Genesis 35. Okay, that's not too far behind. But I'm supposed to be in Leviticus 15, and I only just finished Exodus. So, let's do that. We're going to be reading 15 chapters in Leviticus. It always seems to occur that I have a huge spike in viewers right as this thing starts, and then they trickle out as time goes on. And I think the reason for that is YouTube, the what's it called? Algorithm. The algorithm like pushes me out as soon as I start it so that more people can see it. And then when there's no interest, it just kind of stops pushing me out to people. Oh, look, now that I mention that, there's a whole bunch of people. Weird. That's actually really strange. Anyway, never minding whether or not I have people here or not, I am going to get to reading. So, I'm behind. That's 5 days. That's not too bad. I'm supposed to be in Leviticus 15, which is on page 159, and I'm starting Leviticus on page 136. So let's start that. Then Yahweh called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting, saying, "Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, when any man from among you brings an offering near to Yahweh, you shall bring your offering of animals from the herd or the flock. If his offering is a burnt offering from the herd, he shall bring it." Sorry, there's not a comma there. "He shall bring it near, a male without blemish. He shall bring it near to the doorway of the tent of meeting, that he may be accepted before Yahweh. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, that it may be accepted for him to make atonement on his behalf. Then he shall slaughter the young bull before Yahweh, and Aaron's sons the priests shall bring near the blood, and splash the blood around on the altar that is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And he shall then skin the burnt offering, and cut it into its pieces. And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put the fire on the altar, and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons the priests shall arrange the pieces, the head, and the suet over the wood which is on the fire that is on the altar. Its entrails, however, and its legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall offer up in smoke all of it on the altar for a burnt offering, an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. But if his burnt offering is from the flock of the sheep or of the goats, for a burnt offering, he shall bring near a male without blemish. And he shall slaughter it on the side of the altar northward before Yahweh, and Aaron's sons the priests shall splash its blood around on the altar. He shall then cut it into its pieces with the head and its suet, and the priest shall arrange them on the wood which is on the fire that is on the altar. I just went backwards. I don't know how I did that. The entrails, however, and the legs he shall wash with water. The priest shall bring all of it near for an offering up in smoke on the altar. It is a burnt offering, an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. But if his offering to Yahweh is a burnt offering of birds, then he shall bring near his offering from the turtle doves or from young pigeons. And the priest shall bring it near to the altar, and bring off its head, and offer it up in smoke on the altar, and its blood its blood is to be drained out on the side of the altar. He shall also take away its crop with its feathers, and cast it beside the altar eastward, to the place of the ashes. Then he shall tear it by its wings, but he shall not separate it. And the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar, on the wood which is on the fire. It is a burnt offering, an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. Wonderful thing. You'll read along with me. Excellent. Good. Leviticus goes into a whole bunch of detail about the offerings and the sacrifices and the law that is supposed to be upheld by the children of Israel. And so, right here, it's this first section is going to be talking about all the different offerings. This one's the burnt offerings. Chapter 2 says it's the statutes of the grain offerings. So that's going to be less violent. So chapter 2 of Leviticus, now when anyone brings near a grain offering as a offering to Yahweh, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it, and put frankincense on it. He shall then bring it to Aaron's sons the priests, And he shall take from it his handful of its fine flour and of its oil with all of its frankincense. And the priest shall offer it up in smoke as its memorial portion on the altar, an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. And the remainder of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons, a thing most holy of the offerings to Yahweh by fire. Excuse me. Now, when you bring near an offering of a grain offering baked in an oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers spread with oil. And if your offering is a grain offering made on the griddle, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. You shall break it into bits and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. Now, if your offering is a grain offering made in a pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And you will bring in the grain offering, which is made of these things to Yahweh, and it shall be brought near to the priest, and he shall bring it to the altar. The priest then shall raise up from the grain offering its memorial portion, and he shall offer it up in smoke on the altar as an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. And the remainder of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons, a thing most holy of the offerings to Yahweh by fire. No grain offering which you bring near to Yahweh shall be made with leaven, for you shall not offer up in smoke any leaven or any honey as an offering by fire to Yahweh. As an offering of first fruits you shall bring them near to Yahweh, but they shall not ascend for a soothing aroma on the altar. Interesting. I had never caught that before. So you can offer leaven or honey as an offering, just not by fire. It's for an offering of the first fruits you shall bring them, but not ascending as a soothing aroma on the altar. That's interesting. Every grain offering of yours, moreover, you shall season with salt, so that the salt of the covenant of your God shall not be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall bring salt near. Also, if you bring near a grain offering of early ripened things to Yahweh, you shall bring near fresh heads of grain roasted in the fire. Grits of new growth for the grain offering of your early ripened things. You shall then put oil on it and place frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. And the priest shall offer up in smoke its memorial portion, part of its grits and its oil with all its frankincense, as an offering by fire to Yahweh. Alrighty. Chapter 3 is titled, in my Bible anyway, The Statutes of Peace Offerings. Now, if his offering is a sacrifice of peace offerings, if he is going to bring near one from the herd, whether male or female, he shall bring it near without blemish before Yahweh. Then he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering, and slaughter it at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash the blood around on the altar. From the sacrifice of the peace offerings he shall bring an offering by fire near to Yahweh, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys. Then Aaron's sons shall offer it up in smoke on the altar, on the burnt offering, which is on the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering by fire of a soothing aroma to Yahweh. But if his offering for a sacrifice of peace offerings to Yahweh is from the flock, he shall bring it near, male or female, without blemish. That's the end of the sentence. If he is going to bring near a lamb for his offering, then he shall bring it near before Yahweh. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and slaughter it before the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons shall splash its blood around on the altar. And from the sacrifice of peace offerings he shall bring near as an offering by fire to Yahweh its fat, the entire fat tail, which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all of the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys. Then the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar as food. an offering by fire to Yahweh. Moreover, if his offering is a goat, then he shall bring it near before Yahweh, and he shall lay his hand on its head and slaughter it before the tent of meeting. And the sons of Aaron shall splash its blood around on the altar. And from it he shall bring near his offering as an offering by fire to Yahweh, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys, and the priests shall offer them up in smoke on the altar as food, an offering by fire for a soothing aroma. All fat is Yahweh's. It is a perpetual statute throughout your generations, in all your places of habitation. You shall not eat any fat or any blood. So, while I'm thinking about it, Leviticus goes into a lot of things, a lot of laws about sacrifices and things that the children of Israel had to obey. And a lot of those, like, what is it called? The sacrificial law, or the law of the sacrifices, those don't apply to us today, because we're no longer under the old covenant. We're under the new covenant, where Jesus is the perfect sacrifice who has covered all our sins. We no longer need to daily make sacrifices and offerings to cover up our sins, because Jesus took care of that on the cross. But it's still interesting to read over the law that the children of Israel had to obey. And of course, they have some rather strict laws, because God was dwelling among them, and they had to be a holy people, because God cannot be in the presence of evil. Hence why some of their punishments were very harsh. A lot of those things aren't punished quite as harshly nowadays. Of course, some things that happen these days should be punished more harshly than they are, just saying, but I digress. Chapter 4 in my Bible is labeled the statutes of sin offerings. So we're going to be talking about sin offerings. So that's the sort of offering you would have to offer whenever you sinned, instead of just praying, asking God to forgive you and to, renew your mind, help you to clean your heart. What is it that David says? Create in me a clean heart, O God. Instead of only needing to do that, they would also have to offer offerings. So that's what this is. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, if a person sins unintentionally in any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and he does any one of them, if the anointed priest sins so as to bring guilt on the people, then let him bring near to Yahweh a bull from the herd without blemish as a sin offering for the sin he has committed. Then he shall bring the bull to the doorway of the tent of meeting before Yahweh, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull and slaughter the bull before Yahweh. Then the anointed priest shall take some of the blood of the bull and bring it to the tent of meeting, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before Yahweh in front of the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall also put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of fragrant incense, which is before Yahweh in the tent of meeting, and all the blood of the bull he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. Then he shall raise up from it all the fat of the bull of the sin offering, the fat that covers the entrails, and all of the fat which is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys, just as it is raised up from the ox of the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall offer them up in smoke on the altar of burnt offering. But the hide of the bull, and all its flesh, with its head and its legs and its entrails and its refuse, that is, all the rest of the bull, he shall bring out to a clean place outside the camp, where the ashes are poured out, and he shall burn it on wood with fire. Where the ashes are poured out, it shall be burned. Now, if the if the whole congregation of Israel commits error, and the matter is hidden from the sight of the assembly, and they commit any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and they become guilty, when the sin which they have committed becomes known, then the assembly shall bring near a bull from the herd for a sin offering, and bring it before the tent of meeting. Then the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before Yahweh, and the bull shall be slaughtered before Yahweh. Then the anointed priest shall bring some of the blood of the bull of the tent of meeting, and the priest shall dip his finger in the blood, and sprinkle it 7 times before Yahweh in front of the veil. And he shall put some of the blood on the horns of the altar which is before Yahweh in the tent of meeting, and all the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar and of burnt offering which is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. He shall then raise up all its fat from it, and offer it up in smoke on the altar. He shall also do with the bull just as he did with the bull of the sin offering. Thus he shall do with it. So the priest shall make atonement for them, and they will be forgiven. Then he shall bring out the bull to a place outside the camp, and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is the sin offering for the assembly. When a leader sins, and unintentionally does any one of all the things which Yahweh his God has commanded not to be done, and he becomes guilty, or if his sin which he has committed is made known to him, he shall bring for his offering a goat, a male without blemish, and he shall bring for his offering, I just read that, I'm sorry, a male without blemish. Then he shall lay his hand on the head of the male goat, and slaughter it in the place where they slaughter the burnt offering before Yahweh. It is a sin offering. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering, which his... I'm reading faster than my eyes are going. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering. And all its fat he shall cover up in smoke on the altar, as in the case of the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. Thus the priest shall make atonement for him in regard to his sin, and he will be forgiven. Now, if any one of the common people sins unintentionally in doing any of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, and becomes guilty, or if his sin which he has committed is made known to him, then he shall bring for his offering a goat, a female without blemish, for his sin which he has committed. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and slaughter the sin offering at the place of the burnt offering. And the priest shall take some of its blood with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. Then he shall remove all its fat, just as the fat was removed from the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar for a soothing aroma to Yahweh. Thus the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. But if he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring it a female without blemish. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering, and slaughter it for a sin offering in the place where they slay the burnt offering. And the priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. Then he shall remove all its fat, just as the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offerings, and the priest shall offer them up in smoke on the altar, and the offerings by fire to Yahweh. Thus the priest shall make atonement for him in regard to his sin which he has committed, and he will be forgiven. I am going to lower my chair a little bit so I don't have to, bend my head so much. I can already tell that that's much better. Let me scoot this thing forward a little bit more. There we go. And I'm just going to readjust this camera just a tad bit. There we go. 850 says, Jesus loves you and I love you too. Chapter 5 of Leviticus. Now, if a person sins after he hears a public oath to testify when he is a witness, whether he has seen or otherwise known, if he does not tell it, then he will bear his guilt. Or a person who touches any unclean thing, whether a carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of unclean cattle, or a carcass of unclean swarming things, though it is hidden from him, yet he is unclean, he will be guilty. Or if he touches human uncleanness, of whatever sort his uncleanness may be, with which he becomes unclean, and it is hidden from him, and then he comes to know it, he will be guilty. Or if a person swears thoughtlessly with his lips to do evil or to do good, in whatever matter a man may speak thoughtlessly with a sworn oath, and it is hidden from him, and then he comes to know it, he will be guilty in one of these. That's interesting. I hadn't noticed that before either. In verse 4, it says, if a person swears thoughtlessly with his lips to do evil or to do good. So it doesn't matter whether you're swearing to do something evil or if you're swearing to do something good. In either case, you're doing it thoughtlessly, and that's the sin. It's you cannot do anything thoughtlessly. You got to be intentional. You know, that's something I've been thinking about recently. It came to mind, I don't know, maybe a month ago, how we're supposed to be intentional with what we do as Christians. We're not supposed to just, blah, We're supposed to be intentional with what we do, and that kind of supports it. I am going to plug my phone in because it is low in battery. I'm going to turn this camera, what is that? I'm going to turn the camera off just for a second so that I can plug this thing in. There we go. Charging. And now to stick this thing back in there. Let me get that cord. All right. There we go. Whoops. There we are. Let me fix that camera angle. All right, that's good. All right. Now my phone is plugged in, and it will not die in the middle of this live stream. I think it was at 50% when I started, and it's already down at 30%, so good idea to get it plugged in. All right, where were we? Chapter 5, verse 5. Oh, yeah, swearing thoughtlessly. Oh, verse 4, sorry. So starting in verse 5 now of chapter 5 of Leviticus. So it shall be when he becomes guilty in one of these, that he shall confess that in which he has sinned. He shall also bring his guilt offering to Yahweh for his sin which he has committed, a female from the flock, a lamb or a goat, as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement on his behalf for his sin. But if he cannot afford a lamb, then he shall bring to Yahweh his guilt offering for that in which he has sinned, 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And he shall bring them to the priest, who shall bring near first that which is for the sin offering, and shall nip its head at its front at the front of its neck, but he shall not separate it. He shall also sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the side of the altar, while the rest of the blood shall be drained out at the base of the altar. It is a sin offering. The second he shall then prepare as a burnt offering according to the legal judgment. So the priest shall make atonement on his behalf for his sin which he has committed, and it will be forgiven him. But if his means are insufficient for 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, then for his offering for that which he has sinned, he shall bring the 10th of an ephah of fine flour for a sin offering. He shall not place oil on it or put frankincense on it, for it is a sin offering. Let me see. I have a measurement here in the back that tells me how much an ephah is. Ephah, a dry measure, approximately 21 quarts, or 23 liters. So an ephah is a little bit over 5 gallons. So about 5 gallons of fine flour. I don't know how much that would weigh, but it would be probably, one of those little, no, probably, packet of flour. Something like that size, I think. So that's a good amount of flour. He shall then bring it to the priest, and the priest shall take his handful of it as a memorial portion, and offer it up in smoke on the altar with the offerings of Yahweh by fire. It is a sin offering, so the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his sin which he has committed from one of these, and it will be forgiven him. Then the rest shall become the priest's, like the grain offering. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, If a person acts unfaithfully and sins unintentionally against the holy things of Yahweh, then he shall bring his guilt offering to Yahweh, a ram without blemish from the flock, according to your valuation in silver by shekels, in terms of the shekel of the sanctuary, for a guilt offering. And let me just check this measurement back here again. A shekel is about 0.4 ounces, so just under half an ounce of silver. Is that what it said? Silver? Yeah. So, in half ounces of silver. So, however many shekels they think it's valued at, that's what they will do. Okay. He shall make restitution for that which he has sinned against the holy thing, and he shall add to it a 5th part of it, and give it to the priest. The priest shall then make atonement for him with the ram of the guilt offering, and it will be forgiven him. Now, if a person sins and does any one of the things which Yahweh has commanded not to be done, but he was unaware, still he is guilty and shall bear his punishment. He is then to bring to the priest a ram without blemish from the flock, according to your valuation, for a guilt offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him concerning his error, in which he sinned unintentionally and did not know it, and it will be forgiven him. It is a guilt offering. He was certainly guilty before Yahweh. All right, that's the end of chapter 5. I'm going to run out of water before I catch up. I'm about a third of the way there. So, I suppose I'm making good time. What is the time? Oh, it's not even 10 o'clock. Excellent. I'm going to bring this down just a slight bit. There we go. Perfect. I'm probably going to readjust it again later. All right, chapter 6 of Leviticus. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, If a person sins and acts unfaithfully against Yahweh, and deals falsely with his companion in regard to a deposit or a security entrusted to him, or through robbery, or if he has extorted from his companion, or has found what was lost and dealt falsely about it and sworn falsely, so that he sins in regard to any one of the things a man may do, then it shall be, when he sins and becomes guilty, that he shall return what he took by robbery, or what he got by extortion, or the deposit which was entrusted to him, or the lost thing which he found, or anything about which he swore falsely. He shall make restitution for it in full, and add to it 1/5 more. He shall give it to the one to whom it belongs on the day he presents his guilt offering. Then he shall bring to the priest his guilt offering to Yahweh, a ram without blemish from the flock, according to your valuation, for a guilt offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him before Yahweh, and he will be forgiven for any one of the things which he may have done to incur guilt. Incur, that's a fun word. Incur. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Command Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law for the burnt offering. The burnt offering itself shall remain on the hearth on the altar all night until the morning, and the fire on the altar shall be kept burning on it. And the priest shall put on his linen robe, and he shall put on undergarments next to his flesh, and he shall raise up the ashes to which the fire reduces the burnt offering on the altar, and place them beside the altar. Then he shall take off his garments and put on other garments, and carry the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the altar shall be kept burning on it. It shall not go out, but the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and he shall lay out the burnt offering on it, and offer up in smoke the fat portions of the peace offerings on it. Excuse me. The fire shall be kept burning continually on the altar. It shall not go out. Now, this is the law of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before Yahweh in front of the altar. Then one of them shall raise up from it a handful of the fine flour of the grain offering, with its oil, and all the frankincense that is on the grain offering, and he shall offer it up in smoke on the altar, a soothing aroma, as its memorial offering to Yahweh. What is left of it, Aaron and his sons shall eat. It shall be eaten as unleavened cakes in a holy place. They shall eat it in the court of the tent of meeting. It shall not be baked with leaven. I have given it as their share from my offerings by fire. It is most holy, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. Every male among the sons of Aaron may eat it. It is a perpetual statute throughout your generations, from the offerings by fire to Yahweh. Whoever touches them will be set apart as holy. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, This is the offering which Aaron and his sons shall bring near to Yahweh on the day when he is anointed. The 10th of an ephah of fine flour as a regular grain offering. So, doing quick math, 1/10, that's about 2 gallons of fine flour. As a regular grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It shall be prepared with oil on a griddle. When it is well stirred, you shall bring it. You shall bring near the grain offering in baked pieces as a soothing aroma to Yahweh. And the anointed priest, who will be in his place among his sons, shall offer it. By a perpetual statute, it shall be entirely offered up in smoke to Yahweh. So, every grain offering of the priest shall be burned entirely, it shall not be eaten. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of the sin offering. In the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the sin offering shall be slaughtered before Yahweh. It is most holy. The priest who offers it for sin shall eat it. It shall be eaten in a holy place, in the court of the tent of meeting. Anyone who touches its flesh will be set apart as holy, and when any of its blood sprinkles on a garment in a holy place, you shall wash what was sprinkled on. Excuse me. Also, the earthenware vessel in which it was boiled shall be broken. And if it was boiled in a bronze vessel, then it shall be scoured and rinsed in water. And every male among the priests may eat of it. It is most holy. But no sin offering of which any of the blood is brought into the tent of meeting to make atonement in the holy place shall be eaten. It shall be burned with fire. Alrighty. My voice is getting just a slight bit tired, but that is okay. Just reminding myself what page I need to be on. Alright, so I have another 16 pages to go, and that'll be for daily reading, to get through the Bible, but then all the other general reading I'll have to get caught up on today as well. So we'll see what happens. Chapter 7. Now, this is the law of the guilt offering. It is most holy. Oi. Sorry. I had a slight kink in my back and I had to pop it, and that definitely relieved it. Alright. In the place where they slaughter the burnt offering, they are to slaughter the guilt offering, and he shall splash its blood around on the altar. Then he shall bring near from it all its fat, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe on the liver he shall remove with the kidneys, and the priest shall offer them up in smoke on the altar as an offering by fire to Yahweh. It is a guilt offering. Every male among the priests may eat of it. It shall be eaten in a holy place. It is most holy. The guilt offering is like the sin offering. There is one law for them. The priest who makes atonement with it shall have it. Also, the priest who brings near any man's burnt offering, the priest shall have for himself the skin of the burnt offering which he has brought near. Likewise, every grain offering that is baked in the oven, and everything prepared in a pan or on a griddle, shall belong to the priest who brings it near. And every grain offering mixed with oil or dry shall belong to all the sons of Aaron, to all alike. Now, this is the law of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which shall be brought near to Yahweh. If he brings it near for thanksgiving, then, along with the sacrifice of thanksgiving, he shall bring near unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes of well-stirred fine flour mixed with oil. With the sacrifice of his peace offerings for thanksgiving, he shall bring near his offering with cakes of leavened bread. Of this he shall bring near one of every offering as a contribution to Yahweh. It shall belong to the priest who splashes the blood of the peace offerings. Now, as for the flesh of the sacrifice of his thanksgiving peace offerings, it shall be eaten on the day of his offering, and he shall not leave any of it over until morning. But if the sacrifice of his offering is a votive or a free will offering, it shall be eaten on the day that he brings near his sacrifice, and on the next day what is left of it may be eaten. But what is left over from the flesh of the sacrifice on the 3rd day shall be burned with fire. So, if any of the flesh of the sacrifice of his peace offerings should ever be eaten on the third day, he who brings it near will not be accepted, and it will not be counted to his benefit. It shall be an offensive thing, and the person who eats of it will bear his own iniquity. Also, the flesh that touches anything unclean shall not be eaten. It shall be burned with fire. As for other flesh, anyone who is clean may eat such flesh. But the person who eats the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings which belong to Yahweh in his uncleanness, that person shall be cut off from his people. When anyone touches anything unclean, whether human uncleanness, or an unclean animal, or any unclean, detestable thing, and eats of the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings which belong to Yahweh, that person shall be cut off from his people. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, You shall not eat any fat from an ox, a sheep, or a goat. Also, the fat of an animal which dies, and the fat of an animal torn by beasts, may be put to any other use. But you must certainly not eat it. For whoever eats the fat of the animal from which an offering by fire is brought near Yahweh, even the person who eats shall be cut off from his people. And you shall not eat any blood, either of bird or animal, in any of your places of habitation. Any person who eats any blood, even the person, shall be cut off from his people. Then Yahweh spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, He who brings the sacrifice of his peace offerings near to Yahweh shall bring his offering to Yahweh from the sacrifice of his peace offerings. His own hands are to bring offerings by fire to Yahweh. He shall bring the fat with the breast, and that the breast may be waved as a wave offering before Yahweh. And the priest shall offer up the fat in smoke on the altar. But the breast shall belong to Aaron and his sons. And you shall give the right thigh to the priest as a contribution from the sacrifices of your peace offerings. The one among the sons of Aaron who brings near the blood of the peace offerings and the fat, the right thigh shall be his as his portion. For I have taken the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the contribution from the sons of Israel from the sacrifices of their peace offerings, and I have given them to Aaron the priest and to his sons as a perpetual statute taken from the sons of Israel. This is the share for Aaron and the share for his sons from the offerings by fire to Yahweh, in that day when he brought them near to minister as priests to Yahweh. These Yahweh had commanded to be given them from the sons of Israel in the day that he anointed them. It is a perpetual statute throughout their generations. This is the law of the burnt offering, the grain offering, and the sin offering, and the guilt offering, and the ordination offering, and the sacrifice of peace offerings, which Yahweh commanded Moses at Mount Sinai in the day that he commanded the sons of Israel to bring their offerings near to Yahweh in the wilderness of Sinai. All right, so that's all of the offerings in the first 7 chapters. And to be completely honest, I've kind of gotten, I don't want to say bored, but like it's a little overwhelming to read so much about, all the laws of Israel. So I think I'm going to switch over to reading probably Genesis. Let's see here. February the 4th, which is today. I'm supposed to be in Genesis 35. So let me turn back to where I am in Genesis. That's Genesis 26 to 35. That's only 9 days behind. That's not too bad. So let's see. Genesis 26. I don't recall what Genesis 26 is. Isaac. Excellent. All right. And we're going to read through 35, which is Jacob going up to Bethel. Alrighty. Let's get started in Genesis 26. Now, there was a famine in the land besides the previous famine that had occurred in the days of Abraham. So Isaac went to Gerar, to Abimelech, the king of the Philistines. And Yahweh appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Dwell in the land of which I shall tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For to you and to your seed I will give all these lands, and I will establish the oath which I swore to your father Abraham. And I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven, and I will give your seed all these lands, and by your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because Abraham listened to my voice, and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws." So Isaac lived in Gerar. Then the man of the place asked about his wife, and he said, "She is my sister," for he was afraid to say "my wife," thinking, lest the men of this place kill me on account of Rebekah, for she is beautiful in appearance. Now, it happened when he had been there a long time that Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, looked out through a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was caressing his wife Rebekah. Then Abimelech called Isaac and said, "Behold, surely she is your wife. How then did you say she is my sister?" And Isaac said to him, "Because I said, lest I die on account of her." And Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the people might easily have lain with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech commanded all the people, saying, "He who touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." And Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100-fold. And Yahweh blessed him. And the man, excuse me, and the man became very great and continued to grow greater until he became very great. And he had possessions of flocks and possessions of herds and many servants, so that the Philistines were jealous of him. Now, all the wells which his father's servants had dug in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines stopped up by filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us, for you are too mighty for us." And Isaac departed from there and camped in the valley of Gerar and settled there. Then Isaac dug again the wells of water which had been dug in the days of his father Abraham. But the Philistines had stopped them up after the death of Abraham, and he called them by the same names by which his father had called them. Then Isaac's servants dug in the valley and found there a well of flowing water. And the herdsmen of Gerar contended with the herdsmen of Isaac, saying, "This water is ours." So he named the well Esek, because they quarreled with him. So Esek must be the Hebrew word for quarreling. Then they dug another well, and they contended over it also. So he called it Sitnah, which must be the Hebrew word for contention. Then he moved away from there and dug another well, and they did not contend over it. So he named it Rehoboth. And he said, "At last Yahweh has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land." And he went up from there to Beersheba. Then Yahweh appeared to him that night and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your seed, for the sake of my servant Abraham." So he built an altar there and called upon the name of Yahweh and pitched his tent there. And there Isaac's servants dug out a well. Now Abimelech came to him from Gerar with his advisor Ahuzeth and Phicol, the commander of his army. And Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you?" Then they said, "We see plainly that Yahweh has been with you." So we said, "Let there now be an oath between us, between you and us, and let us cut a covenant with you, that you will do us no harm, just as we have not touched you, and have done to you nothing but good, and have sent you away in peace. You are now the blessed of Yahweh." Then he made them a feast, and they ate and drank. In the morning they arose early, and each swore to the other. Then Isaac sent them away, and they departed from him in peace. Now it happened on that day that Isaac's servants came in and told him about the well which they had dug, and said to him, "We have found water." So he called it Sheba. Therefore, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. And Esau was 40 years old, and he took as a wife Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they brought bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah. Now it happened that when Isaac was old and his eyes were too dim to see, that he called his older son Esau and said to him, "My son." And he said, "Here I am." And Isaac said, "Behold, now I am old, and I do not know the day of my death. So now, please take up your gear, your quiver and your bow, and go out to the field and hunt game for me. And prepare a savory dish for me, as such as I love, and bring it to me, and that I may eat, so that my soul may bless you before I die." Now Rebekah was listening while Isaac was speaking to his son Esau. Then Esau went to the field to hunt for game to bring it to Isaac. But Rebekah spoke to her son Jacob, saying, "Behold, I heard your father speaking to your brother Esau, saying, 'Bring me some game, and prepare a savory dish for me, that I may eat, and bless you in the presence of Yahweh before my death.' So now, my son, listen to my voice as I command you. Go now to the flock, and get for me 2 choice young goats from there, that I may prepare them as a savory dish for your father, such as he loves. Then you shall bring it to your father, that he may eat, so that he may bless you before his death." Then Jacob answered his mother Rebekah, "Behold, Esau my brother is a hairy man, and I am a smooth man. Perhaps my father will feel me, then I will be as a mocker in his sight, and I will bring upon myself a curse and not a blessing. But his mother said to him, Your curse be on me, my son. Only listen to my voice and go. Get them for me. So he went out and got them and brought them to his mother, and his mother made a savory dish such as his father loved. Then Rebekah took the best garments of Esau, her elder son, which were with her in the house, and she put them on Jacob, her younger son. And she put the skins of the young goats on his hands and on the smooth part of his neck. She also made the savory dish and the bread, which she had prepared, into the hand of her son Jacob. Then he came to his father and said, My father. And he said, Here I am. Who are you, my son? And Jacob said to his father, I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you told me. Rise up, please, sit and eat of my game, that your soul may bless me. Then Jacob said to his son, How is it that you have found it so quickly, my son? And he said, Because Yahweh your God caused it to happen to me. Then Isaac said to Jacob, Please come near, that I may feel you, my son, whether you are really my son Esau or not. So Jacob came near to Isaac his father, and he felt him, and said, The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau. And he did not recognize him, because his hands were hairy like his brother Esau's hands. So he blessed him. And he said, Are you really my son Esau? And he said, I am. And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's game, that my soul may bless you. And he brought it near to him, and he ate. He also brought him wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, Please come near and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his garments. And then he blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field which Yahweh has blessed. Now may God give you the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and an abundance of grain and new wine. May peoples serve you, and nations bow down to you. Be master of your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you. Now it happened that as soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and Jacob had hardly gone out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. Then he also made a savory dish and brought it to his father. And he said to his father, Let my father arise and eat of his son's game, that your soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said to him, Who are you? And he said, I am your son, your firstborn Esau. Then Isaac trembled exceedingly violently and said, Who was he then that hunted game and brought it to me, so that I ate of all of it before you came, and blessed him? Indeed, he shall be blessed. And Esau heard the words of his father. As Esau heard the words of his father, he cried out with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me also, O my father. And he said, Your brother came deceitfully and has taken away your blessing. Then he said, Is he not rightfully named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved a blessing for me? But Isaac answered and said to Esau, Behold, I have made him your master, and all his fellow brothers I have given to him as servants. And with grain and new wine I have sustained him. Now as for you, then, what can I do, my son? And Esau said to his father, Do you have only one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. So Esau lifted his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, Behold, away from the fatness of the earth shall be your habitation, and away from the dew of heaven from above. By your sword you shall live, and your brother you shall serve. But it shall be, when you become restless, that you will break his yoke from your neck. So Esau bore grudge against Jacob, because of the blessing with which his father had blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. Then the words of her elder son Esau were told to Rebekah. So she sent and called her younger son Jacob and said to him, Behold, your brother Esau is consoling himself concerning you by planning to kill you. So now, my son, listen to my voice and arise. Flee to Haran, to my brother Laban. Excuse me. Stay with him. Where was I? Stay with him a few days until your brother's wrath subsides. Until your brother's anger against you subsides and he forgets what you did to him. Then I will send and get you from there. Why should I be bereaved of you both in one day? Then Rebekah said to Isaac, I am tired of living because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob takes a wife from the daughters of Heth, like these, from the daughters of the land, what good will my life be to me? Alrighty. Excuse me a moment, I will be right back. I have finished this water, and I shall be needing to refill it. So let me turn that off, and I shall turn the camera off as well, just in case, and I will be back in just a couple minutes. I forgot that my phone was plugged into a charger, and so I tripped over it on my way out and pulled my Bible off of the desk. I need to plug that back in. Excellent. Then I shall place this back, and I should be good. There we are. Ay, ay, ay. Alrighty. Now we're in chapter 28. So Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and commanded him and said to him, You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. Arise, go to Paddan Aram, to the house of Bethuel, your mother's father, and from there take to yourself a wife from the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful, and multiply you, that you may become an assembly of peoples. May he also give you the blessing of Abraham to you and to your seed with you, that you may possess the land of your sojournings, which God gave to Abraham. Then Isaac sent Jacob away, and he went to Paddan Aram, to Laban, the son of Bethuel the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, the mother of Jacob and Esau. And Esau saw that Isaac had blessed Jacob and sent him away to Paddan Aram to take for himself a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, saying, You shall not take a wife from the daughters of Canaan. And that Jacob had listened to his father and his mother, and had gone to Paddan Aram. So Esau saw that the daughters of Canaan were displeasing in the sight of his father Isaac. And Esau went to Ishmael and took Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth, to be his wife, besides the wives that he had. Then Jacob departed from Beersheba and went toward Haran. And he reached a certain place and spent the night there. because the sun had set, and he took one of the stones of the place, and put it under his head, and lay down in that place. Then he had a dream, and behold, a ladder stood on the earth, with its top touching heaven. And behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. And behold, Yahweh stood above it, and said, I am Yahweh, the God of your father Abraham, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give it to you, and to your seed. And your seed will also be like the dust of the earth, and you will spread out to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you and your seed all the families of the earth shall be blessed. Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go. And I will bring you back to this land, for I will not forsake you until I have done what I have promised you. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, Surely Yahweh is in this place, and I did not know it. And he was afraid and said, How fearsome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So Jacob arose early in the morning, and took the stone that he had put under his head, and set it up as a pillar, and poured oil on its top. And he called the name of that place Bethel. However, previously the name of the city had been Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God will be with me, and will keep me on this journey on which I am going, and will give me food to eat and garments to wear, and I return to my father's house in peace, then Yahweh will be my God. Now this stone, which I have set up as a pillar, will be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will surely give a tenth to you. I'm going to stop there for now. Let me close this. All right. And I'll set it over here. This camera angle is off. What did I tell you? I was going to be readjusting this before too long. All right, let's try to get some engagement from a whole bunch of people. I did a poll and that was pretty well. Let's see. Do we want to ask a question? Yes. Ask me a Bible verse to read, and oh, this does not have autocorrect. And discuss. There we go. Alright. Okie dokie. Let's put that over here. That way it's visible but not in the way. And let's hope more people join. While I am waiting, let me do another segment of unashamed advertising. Advertising. This is my book that I wrote, Mupleon Perdigop Floppin' Cobb, a novel of nonsense. You can search my name right there on Amazon, or just the title in general. You're welcome to do that. This particular book here, I signed myself, but then I also got the illustrator to sign his name as well. So this is my special copy. But yeah, this has almost been published a whole year now, so that's interesting. I hope to get the second book published before too long, but, you know, who knows when I'll get that done. It takes a lot of work, and I've been busy lately. This thing sure takes a long time to charge when it's being used, doesn't it? All right. Well, to fill time while I'm waiting, what do I want to talk about? I don't know. I suppose I could talk about some of the things I have been doing lately. Let me set my feet up real quick, though, because it's not comfortable to have them resting on that thing right there. There we go. Alright. So, some of the things I have been doing lately. I've gotten into coin collecting and book collecting, and actually looking around, I can definitely tell I've been collecting books because I have stacks and stacks of books all over my room and nowhere to put them. All my shelves are full. I have a shelf here that's just completely full of historical works, biographies, things like that. Book up here that's all fiction. Um, Up here is all of my, I'm drawing a blank on the word at the moment. Apologetics works, and then I've got my, this is a concordance and commentary. I've got some DVDs down there. I've got some Christian fiction books. And then if I look at some of the piles of other books, I've got some classic works over there. I've got some historical books here. What do I have down there? I can't see what those are. I think that's just a random collection of books. Actually, when I was asking earlier about reading classics, I was thinking about one of those books over there, or this one here, which I have closer to me. This is an H.G. Wells book, which I started reading, and it's rather interesting, but I haven't gotten too far into it. But then when I was talking about reading about, what did I say in the poll? Read about culture in the 1800s. That would have been this book here. This is Manners, Culture, and Dress of the Best American Society. This particular book was printed in 1892. And I haven't gotten far into it, but I've read a little bit of it, and it's rather interesting. And then when I was asking about history in the 1900s, I was asking about these books. Here, I only have 4 of the 6 volumes, unfortunately, but it's Our Times by Mark Sullivan. There are 6 volumes. As I said, I only have 4. This particular one is about the 20s. This one is 1914 to 1918. This one's 1909 to 1914. And then this one is pre-war America. So that's kind of something that I think would be interesting to read through in a live stream. I think a lot of people might enjoy that. I'm not sure. But I suppose I won't be doing that anytime soon because people want me to be reading my Bible. Which is good. I need to read that. It's a good thing to read. Another thing that I've been doing lately, as I said earlier, I've been going on walks every day. I particularly enjoy walking at night. I actually was on a walk right before I started this stream, and that was really nice. And one of the things I've been doing when I go on a walk is I'll pray while I'm walking, and that's like a really good time to be alone with God and to pray and to something I've noticed is that prayer is a tool that I've personally have neglected, but when I do take the time to pray, it's something that God uses to renew my mind and to, think more about who He is, what He's done, and, what. Yeah, I kind of do a little bit of meditating on what His Word says, and that's helped me grow a little bit in the last couple weeks, and so I've really enjoyed that. That's something I do, and I hope to keep doing every day. So that'll be nice. Let me throw that thing away there. I've kind of lost interest in this stream. I don't know if y'all can tell. So I think what I'm going to do is just stop the stream. Let me see here. I am going to remove that because nobody was answering. Nobody's on here. And it's kind of late. It's like 10:30, so should probably just be getting to bed. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I've kind of lost my steam. I don't want to be doing this stream anymore. We'll maybe do this again tomorrow or some other time. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks to any of you who are watching this, you know, after it's no longer live. If you've made it to the end, that means you don't think I'm boring, which is, I suppose, a good thing. Sometimes I can be a little bit boring, but, you know, that's just me. If you enjoy this, consider subscribing. You know, the more people who are on here, the more people who are hearing me read God's word, the better. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm just gonna turn this thing off. And who knows what I'll do. Y'all have a good night. God bless.